My name is David Rowe, and I'm the chair of Asia 2021 Congress. It's a gathering of 700 to 800 Asian leaders from Asia Lausanne, Asia Evangelical Alliance, as well as Asia Theological Association. And we're preparing for two events. One is going to be a Majority World Leaders Conversation in possibly 2023, representing Global South leaders in Africa, Latin America, Asia, and the Middle East. Another very important event that you should be aware of is it's going to take place in Seoul, actually, in the year 2024. We're preparing for the Lausanne 4th World Congress. And so Asia 2021 will really bring the issues to these two events. Well, today I want to share with you how the Korean Church can prepare for post-COVID-19. And the first thing I want to say is that post-COVID-19, the world after COVID-19 is going to be something that we have probably not even seen before. It's not going to go back to the world that we have thought before. It's not a return to the norm. In fact, the world is going to be a different place, and the missions and the church needs to prepare for that. And the first thing I see is that because of the coronavirus, COVID-19 coming out of China and out of Asia, our region, there is going to be a anti-China, anti-Asian. Unfortunately, the world is not going to know the difference between Koreans and Chinese, and they're going to lump us together, but it's going to affect the Asian people. The Asian people around the world are going to have, let's just say, we're going to be discriminated, looked down upon as the ones who brought this virus to the world. And it's going to affect our missions. It's going to affect our missionaries and to all these different regions. But secondly, I see the world actually becoming more bipolar. There's a rising China against this Western world, which is led by the U.S., by North America, and this tension is going to increase, and we're going to see this clash of civilization carry out in East Asia. It's going to continue to grow, especially as we see the Hong Kong protests after COVID-19 are going to flare up again. Taiwan is going to be another hot spot. China may consider invading. The South China Seas, as you know, the U.S. has just declared that that's not going to be, they're not going to accept that. And so China and the U.S. are going to fight over that, as well as all the countries surrounding the South China Seas. Of course, Korea, North Korea, Japan, those are all issues in our region that are going to flare up post-COVID-19. We need to prepare for that because the world's going to be watching. It's going to be a global conflict era post-COVID-19 coming from our region. And that's going to affect missions. That can affect our missionaries. That's going to affect how people see us. And so we need to pray for that and prepare our people for that. But on one hand, there's going to be a welcoming of actually, in some sense, this Western progressive pro-democracy, control forces. But there's also going to be sort of you're going to look at North America and say, we don't want this individualism that doesn't care about others. And they're looking at this racial issues in North America and people not wearing face masks and then thousands of people dying. They're saying, we're not going to want a part of that as well. So it's going to be a very, very interesting post-COVID-19 world, a sort of anti-China, anti-West, and yet possibly a world of global conflict in our region that's going to affect our missionaries. Thirdly, we need to be aware of is that there's going to be a synergy of digital, Zoom online with incarnational ministries, meaning that we still need boots on the ground. We still need to send people to do the work, to send the missionaries on ground. And so there's going to be a temptation to keep Korean missionaries now that they're back. Many thousands of them are back home. And post-COVID-19, they might be returning back to some civilian work. Some of them might be in pastoral ministry now. You might invite them to become the mission pastor or mobilize for missions. I'm going to challenge the Korean church. And yes, we do need people in that area, but send your missionaries back to the mission field post-COVID-19. We need boots on the ground. We need missionaries on the ground. And we need the synergizing of digital, Zoom, online, combined together with incarnational ministry. Fourthly, there's going to be a hurting world out there. The majority of world leaders, I just had a meeting that I was able to hear the suffering that's taking place all around the world. In India, people are not just dying from COVID-19, they're starving. Thousands are starving to death. You know, you have in Africa, the COVID-19 is devastating people there, but it's also, they got tremendous suffering from Boko Haram with the militant groups of Islam. You just all across the world, there's areas of suffering, and the majority of world leaders are telling me that God has allowed for this to happen, for the church to operate in a different way. They see it as God's intervention to prepare the church to do things differently. And I think the Korean church needs to send out missionaries to partner together with these global South majority world leaders in areas of tremendous suffering, in marginalized areas, in areas of need, humanitarian as well as spiritual needs. The three most important countries going into COVID post-19, I really believe, are going to be China, India, and Korea. And it's because I believe there's going to be many other Asian countries on the rise as well. But spiritually, the church is strongest in these three countries. And the missionary strength of the Korean church, especially with the decades of experience. And the Chinese church is preparing, they're just beginning to send out missionaries, thousands of missionaries. They're preparing for thousands of missionaries to be sent. Ideally, they want to focus on the Middle East, back to Jerusalem, to countries in the Muslim world. India, of course, has the greatest unreached region of probably 700 to 800 million unreached people in northern India. Of course, we have Southeast Asia with all the multiple unreached, unengaged people groups in the South Asia region. But right around this area is still the greatest need, and I believe the Korean church, with the multiple years, the decades of experience, can partner with the Asian church together to catalyze an Asian mission movement in the next 10, 20 years. Imagine that. Koreans, along with Asian missionaries, young people, students, who are now being sent to these areas of the world to influence them with the gospel. I look forward to joining you and to hearing how God is working among you in the Korean church to catalyze this next mission movement. God bless you.